Hello, everyone. Welcome to After Dark. I'm your host, Sandy Diva. Joining me tonight is Real or Not for Real Ever Josh and a very special guest, Robyn from Mega Maniacs. Welcome, Robyn. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Josh,
Wonderful.
how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Nice and quiet.
Yeah,
All
ready
right.
to be here.
That's great. Guys, I have to let you know tonight's going to be a little bit different than usual. This is not Mandela Effects anything tonight. Tonight we are talking about the church, or as Josh puts it, the cult that he grew up in. And I'm going to actually give the reins over to Josh tonight because it's his experience. And both he and Robyn share this experience. And I'm more just a spectator like you guys are. I am curious. I want to know what happened. I may, if I have a question, jump in. But Josh, I'm handing the reins over to you tonight. So
Mm,
take it away.
All right. Well, I guess first, might as well start off. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, Robyn, and um, your channel, and kind of, I guess, first my first question is, how did you get involved with World Harvest and uh, become a part of that, and because I believe you work there in the HR.
Yes, that's right. I I have two sons and they're almost 10 years apart. And long story short, when my oldest son was coming out of fifth grade, going into sixth grade, my husband at the time, which we're divorced now, but we had bought a house that was in the Columbus City School District. And if you live in that school district, then there is something called Ed Choice vouchers. And basically, they give you an opportunity to send your kid to a private school and they'll give you a certain amount of money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So my ex-husband actually was a teacher at World or at Harvest Prep. So depending on when you went there, you may know who he is. So he was a teacher there, and he actually said, I wouldn't ever go back to church there, but I think the school is okay. And I said, okay. So we went and checked it out. And so my oldest son started going to school there in the sixth grade. And I think that you said that's when you started going there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a year, I think it was about no, not quite a year later, probably I don't know, 5 or 6 months after that, my youngest son was turning 3 years old and was getting ready to start preschool. And so I decided that it was time for me to get back to work. And I wanted to work in a Christian environment. And so I went on the school website one day to get a school calendar or something, and I saw the job opening at World Harvest, Harvest Prep, and Valor. So it's kind of all in one
Mm-hmm.
for the HR director, and that's what my background was in. So I applied for the job. The first interview did not go well. I didn't think they liked me. I did not like them, but they ended up calling me back for a second interview, and one of the requirements was they wanted me to go to church there.
Of course.
And I absolutely refused and told them, if this was a prerequisite of the position, that they should probably choose another candidate. And so they actually, hired me for that job without going to church there. But of course, I worked there. My son was in school there, and then my youngest son ended up going to school there as well. So that was sort of how I got into that system.
Wow, that's interesting because they did that way back when I was going there. Like it was pretty much a requirement that in order for your kids to go to school there, that you had to become a member of the church. Uh,
Yep.
so it's interesting that they're still doing that today.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was there for almost 4 years. It was just October, November, December. I was about 4 months shy of making it 4 years. And I knew that I was supposed to expose that it was a very abusive and toxic work environment because I had always worked in corporate America. And by the way, me praying for a Christian work environment was not World Harvest Church. By the way, it was the worst work environment that I had ever worked in. And although me personally, I was not treated badly on a daily basis, or really there's really only one situation where I was really upset with how I was treated. Other than that, it was seeing the ramifications of how other people were treated, the things that I was seeing, the things that I was hearing, but also still trying to be some kind of voice of reason, if that even exists in that place, to try to invoke some change there or have some kind of peace and happiness, to add to the culture of the place, and
Hmm.
just be a support system for the people that were sort of on the front lines, that were just getting their teeth kicked in on a daily basis. So when I left there, I knew I was going, or I was supposed to expose them, but I really honestly didn't want to do it because I just didn't want the headache of it. I didn't want, if there were going to be legal battles, I just didn't. I finally had peace after leaving there. And so I left the end of October of 2022, and then I started the podcast in March of 2024. So that was the period of time that sort of went by when I finally said, kind of enough is enough, and I've got to start talking about this stuff.
Okay, yeah, that kind of leads me into the next question. But real quick before we do that, how long had you been there before you realized that it was a toxic environment and not you said you were there 4 years. Like how
Yeah.
long into that 4 years was it before you started realizing this isn't a good place?
Well, really on my first day, to be quite honest, and I say that kind of tongue in cheek, but I honestly didn't think I was going to make it 6 months. Okay, I because of things that I was starting to see very quickly. So on my first day, they had me start on a Monday, which most of the office is, as far as the church staff goes, they don't work on Mondays because they work Sundays. But because I had gotten hired and I was not going to be there on Sundays, I was working Monday through Friday. So I started on a Monday. There was hardly anyone in the office. They allowed me to do my own new hire paperwork, which ended up being a blessing because I didn't sign any of their confidentiality agreements or non-competes and
Hmm.
all of the crazy paperwork that they have you sign. But my first day there, Lisa Brunson and Germaine Brunson, I don't know if you know who they are, but their keys were in my office. So they had quit, and so that was my first day, but there was no resignation letter. I didn't know why they had left. And so I thought that was sort of odd that there would just be keys, and they had abruptly taken their kids out of school. So that was sort of a red flag to me, but not like, oh, this is bad. That was probably several weeks later when I actually did get a resignation letter from a pastor that had been in a meeting with Rod and 11 or 12 other people, and Rod shot a gun in the meeting, and that's why he was quitting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I heard that story, but yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, you knew pretty much right off the bat that uh, it wasn't the place to be, but uh,
Yeah.
you stuck there for 4 years.
Yeah.
So all right. so then I guess the next question is once you did leave, and you said it was about a year and a half or a little under 2 years before you
Yeah.
decided that that you had to speak out about it.
Hmm.
Um, like were you worried about any kind of backlash from the church, or because I mean it's a big organization, and they got a lot of money and probably have a lot of attorneys. Um,
Yeah.
were you ever fearful of that when you started your channel, that that they might come after you in any way, legally or anything like that, or did you just say, I'm going to do it, and you know take what they throw at me?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, once I said yes, because for me, uh I felt like the Lord was leading me to do this, that he had put me in that position. I was someone that had a very good reputation there. Everyone liked me. I had never, been reprimanded for anything. And even the people that would end up, trying to blemish my reputation after I left and after I started speaking out, those would have been people that would have said very nice things about me, when I was still there. And
Hmm.
so I felt like I was the person to do it, because obviously I had started gathering information probably a year and a half before I left. I started making copies, taking pictures, getting audio, getting some video, and just sort of preparing. I didn't know how it was going to happen, when it was going to happen, but I sort of started preparing that. But like I said, after I was out of there, I had such a peace of not being in that environment anymore, that I just didn't want to be bothered by it, to be completely honest. And then I started seeing people that had either attended the college there or had some, they went to school there, they went to church there, and they were starting to speak out. And I just felt like a stirring in my spirit that, like, you need to do something. And I was not getting a lot of peace then at that point, because I was really trying to avoid doing it. But once I audibly said, "Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm the person that has the reputation, the information to do this." Once I audibly said that, there was no fear. So I knew that what I was saying was the truth. I knew that I had backup for what I was saying. And I knew that they would try to bully me, because, again, I may have not been, Rod Parsley's right-hand person, but I was in the I was the director of human resources. And so I knew the attorneys they dealt with. I knew what kind of letters they would send to people to try to bully them and kind of get them to do what they wanted. So I was anticipating that would happen, but no, there was never any fear. I was not worried about them coming after me. um yeah, like suing me. I was not worried about them coming after me physically or anything like that. No.
Okay, well that's good. It sounds like you had yeah, you did some good things and getting some evidence before you left.
Yeah.
So you had, you were able to back up to make those claims. But I kind of felt the same way when I left. Like it was, obviously a different circumstance. I didn't work there, but when I like, I felt like I escaped from that place. When I graduated, uh, and I was kind of the same way. I didn't want to look back. I didn't want to deal with it, and uh, but it took me 10 years to realize. Uh, but but yeah,
Yeah.
that was like, we're talking, different time frames too. I basically left the church in 93 or 94 is probably the last time I was there.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Okay.
was there back in the beginning, like the first year in the building that they're in now. They had just built the church, and but when we started going there, it was Word of Life back in the old Wright Road
Yeah.
property.
Yeah.
Um, and then he finally made it over. And yeah, the year that they opened the school, in there was my first year there. So
Wow.
long time ago.
Guys, can I interrupt for 1 second?
Sure.
How much longer after you joined the church, Josh, your family joined the church, like, was it from when the church was started? Do you know?
I don't know. When we started the church, like I said, it was in the old building, and I think it only had like 150, 200 seat sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of, but bursting at the seams by the time that we started going there. So it was shortly after that they. So I don't know how long it took them to get. Do you know, Robyn, what year the Word of Life started?
So Word of Life, it was either 83 or 85, is when Sandy, the how this I have some paperwork on this too, but so Rod and his uncle and Rod's father, they started the Sunrise Chapel. So this would have been in 1978 or 79. They started Sunrise Chapel. Then it was converted to Word of Life. And that again, that would have been 83 or 85. And that was at that point, I think that they were initially in the basement of like a bar or something. And then they ended up going to the Right Road property, which is now the warehouse for the church and all their merchandise and Bibles and all of that. And then they broke ground, I believe, in the late 80s, for the property that they're in now. So it was either 83 or 85 that they were in that Right Road property.
Wow, that's amazing, actually, how fast they grew from a
Yeah,
basement to that gigantic compound.
Hmm.
That's amazing, actually.
yeah, and it was
Um,
probably 85 or 86 or 87 when we joined. My parents started going to that church, so I guess it had only been around a couple years.
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, and you were only there until what, 94, 93?
Yeah. Well, in school in 93, and then I had to go to church until 94 until I moved out of my parents' house, and then didn't go back anymore after that.
See, I'm fascinated and like heartbroken that Josh has no connection to Jesus, no connection to God because of Rod Parsley. Like
Yeah.
that's awful. I'm sorry, that's awful. It's just, and I don't understand that. And he's tried to explain it to me, but I don't understand. But he said, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Can you please explain why you feel that way?
Well, I mean, I guess when you grow up and you're taught, something your whole life, and then at 19, 18 or 19, you realize that pretty much everything you were taught was a lie. And it's like, kind of like having to start over again. So I just kind of looked at it like, like there's there was so much, lying and deceit and weird stuff in that place that I can't believe any of what they ever taught me. So I just kind of just stopped believing, in uh, the stuff that they taught in the Bible and God and Jesus and all that kind of stuff. And it took me 10 years um, to kind of start rethinking that. But I just when your main source of information for your whole life is one thing, and you find out that the majority of it's not true, then I guess the whole religion and Christianity aspect kind of fell into that category.
And I mean I wouldn't. I mean, we have watched recently. We did a reaction show to videos about Rod Parsley, and we heard some of his. I don't even know how to describe it. Advertisements, I guess, where
Hmm.
he would take a Bible verse, twist it,
Yep.
and then claim, God said send $300. Like, really? Like, it's just, I understand how you can feel that way, but the word is still there. It doesn't change just because Rod Parsley changed it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I realize that now, and like I was saying earlier tonight when I was talking to Bomber, um, like I'm open to the idea of things, finding something I've just never since since I got away from there. I just for 10 years I didn't look back and wanted nothing to do with the religion. But especially since I've been in the community on YouTube here in the Mandela community, I've met a lot of like actual Christians and not people who say they're Christians and but just blindly follow the preaching and teachings of somebody. You know what I mean? So religion and
yeah.
And he seems to teach more about out of his own books and his own writings than he does the Bible a lot of times. And so yeah, so I'm open to the idea. I just like it just took me a while to get past the whole brainwashing.
Well, and
No.
that's something that when I've talked to, because when I started the podcast, like I said, I thought it was an abusive and toxic place, but I didn't know that all the abuse that had happened and child sex abuse and that they covered it up. Like I didn't know any of that stuff. And but I have found with interviewing people that there are people that, because they grew up in homes that were very much, doing this man worship where they thought Rod Parsley or, one of these other cult leaders is their mediator between them and God, and they're some, elite anointed person, and they can, pull things out of the scriptures and hear things from God that we cannot. That it has one person that's at the head and then everybody else that's trying to claw and fight their way up to the top, and it just never happens. And they tell you that you can get to, you might not get to Rod Parsley's spot, but you can get closer to the top, but you've got to give enough money or sow enough seeds and have enough faith. But they're just robbing you blind and controlling every aspect of your life. And then by the time you realize, if you ever do, what's happened, you it's almost, I think there's almost a natural reaction to blame God, because you've always equated God and this leader as the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
it seems
yeah.
to me that that's kind of how he acts is he acts like like, or he thinks that that he's a god, or he's I don't know, just
Oh, it's by design. You are absolutely correct. I mean, that's exactly how it's been designed, and uh he's become a very rich and powerful man because of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
You
word
can,
I would use from the outside is charlatan, fraud.
indeed. Yes.
Those are the words I would use.
Heretic. Yeah,
Oh gosh, yes.
absolutely.
Oh,
Blasphemer. Uh-huh.
and I mean, I understand that some of the things I heard were accusations. He was not convicted of anything. But I don't understand how someone can stay in power, how the people around him can continue to let him stay in power in that facility
Hmm.
with accusations like that on the table. And I don't want to say them because they're accusations, but I mean, I heard recordings from his own mouth, like him berating his
Yeah.
employees. I'm assuming some of them are volunteers, correct?
Yes, indeed. Some of them are volunteers. Yes.
And you could hear the one that we listened to, and if anyone's curious, it's on Rumble. I believe Mr. Who in the chat, we reacted to 2 of your videos.
Oh, I love Mr. Who. Is
I
he
do
here?
too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mr. Who's
Mr.
great.
Who is right. Sorry, right here.
All right.
One of the videos was him yelling, screaming at a man, and instantly I thought of like domestic abuse, because his demeanor, his words, you can tell he's been through this before. He instantly got quiet. It's okay. Like, he got quiet. He was like appeasing him. I agree. It's okay. And it's just, you're any boss. You should never, ever, ever be afraid to speak up about something that's wrong in a workplace, especially. And that's what that is. I understand it's your church, but my question is, does he ostracize people from the church for speaking out against him?
Oh, I think we might have lost her.
We may have lost Robyn. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we lost her. She lost her camera at least.
Yes, but I think we lost her sound as well.
Yeah.
While we wait for Robyn to come back, Josh, in your experience, have you ever known that to happen?
Have I ever known him to say the question again?
Oh, so ostracize someone from the church, like make it so that the person never wants to come back, or doesn't feel comfortable coming back, or is not welcome to come back.
In my own personal experience, I never seen that, firsthand. But I had heard stories. Okay, she's back.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Robyn back in.
Sorry, I got a phone call and it totally
good,
knocked me off. So I heard my question is, and then it was gone.
Okay.
It's okay. I was asking Josh. He said not in his experience, maybe in yours. Has Rod Parsley or his family members ever, like when they've been challenged by employees and volunteers, has anyone ever been forced to leave the church, ostracized, not made to feel not welcome?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like, so it's funny that you said the people are walking around like abused spouses, because that's what we would say. That's what I would say. Like, everyone's walking around here like an abused wife. Like, they, you're hyper focused on what kind of mood Rod and his daughter are in. You are hyper vigilant about keeping them happy, or at least, kind of flying under the radar. But you're not allowed to say, no, I'm not going to do that, or any kind of challenging whatsoever. And absolutely, there have been several people that I was involved, that were trying to leave. Like, they were staff members, they were trying to leave correctly. They would give, a 4-week notice if they were in a high profile position that they knew it would take a while for them to fill. Some people would even give up to a 6-month notice that they were going to leave. And they would absolutely, so some of those people, they would try to retain them. Why are you leaving? We'll give you more money, we'll give you more time off, whatever the case is. But if those people were saying, we're still going to leave, or we are leaving because of a situation that involved them, or they felt like they had been wronged, absolutely. Not only are they so they are told they're leaving before they even have a chance to work out their notice. They are told that they either cannot come to church there anymore, or if they are allowed to come to church there, that they are supposed to, sit towards the back and not make a big fuss that they're still going to church there, because some of the times they still want these people's monies. They just don't want them. And but then they tell the rest of the staff, you cannot talk to these people. We want you to disconnect from these people. If we hear that you have a relationship with these people, you are also going to be in trouble.
Oh, that sounds a lot like Scientology.
Exactly, like science. Yeah, like you have, it's crazy. People think because, somebody pulls out a Bible, or they, say they love Jesus, or they might tell one, or they might give one scripture that is given correctly and in full context and not twisted, that these people, they treat these pastors like they treat doctors, that they're more educated than them, that they have their best interests at heart. And so people go into these situations with their guard down, like, well, why wouldn't I be able to trust this person or this place? And then they find out why, because I didn't see any fruits of the spirit from these people. I did not see any loving kindness, humbleness, nothing, no compassion. And in fact, they act like they hate people, not love them.
Oh, that's exactly what I picked up when
Yeah.
we were watching the videos about them. Is that, I mean, what people need to understand is, they are human, and they are fallible, and they can be just as awful as any other human. It doesn't matter that they are a pastor of a church. I don't know what his daughter's title is, but
Student
and
pastor.
student pastor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the Bible
She was
college.
raised.
Oh, we lost her again.
We lost her again. She probably got a phone call.
Oh.
Robyn, if you want, you
Can
can
you guys
turn
hear
on
me?
airplane.
Yep.
Yes. Can you hear us? Uh-oh.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Can
Can you
you.
hear us? I don't think she can hear us.
Yeah.
See, guys, it's not just us that have the technical difficulties. I'm telling my channel because we have them all the time.
Yeah.
It is definitely StreamYard.
Yeah, or she got another phone call.
Yeah, and that's why I'm suggesting she turn on airplane mode. She originally joined us on her computer. The phone thing was because her computer was not, she could hear us, but we could not hear her. So we eventually waited for her to switch to the phone. That's why we were a couple minutes late. Oh, and we lost her.
All right.
I agree, Mr. Who. It is wild. He says that's wild to tell another adult to excommunicate themselves from you just because you disagree with them. That's what kids do. I agree. Welcome back. Can you hear us?
I'm so sorry that this is the problem when using my phone. is that when I get a phone call, it knocks me off. So my apologies to you.
Oh, no, it's okay. But if you go into your settings or just swipe down if you have Apple and hit that airplane, that'll stop the calls from coming in.
Oh, perfect. I'll do that right now.
But it might turn your internet off. If it does, we'll just wait till you come back.
Unless you're on Wi-Fi.
I'm on Wi-Fi.
No. Okay.
Sometimes it turns the Wi-Fi button off. That's why I was saying
I got you.
that. Yeah.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, so we were just talking about it. I was agreeing with Mr. Who. It is wild to expect someone to just, I don't talk to them anymore because they're bad. They're going to be leaving. I disagree with them. They disagree with us. Don't speak to them. That is nonsense. You're supposed to be a follower of Christ. You're supposed to act in the manner of Christ. You're supposed to love your neighbor. It just blows my mind that pastors, priests, people in that sort of power do these awful things. And I honestly, I mean, you know, we all grew up, just, a lot of us, I should say, grew up with on the TV evangelists asking for money constantly and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
but Rod Parsley took the cake. I've never seen anything like that. Like, it really does seem like that is all he cared about was taking money from people instead of being a shepherd to the people,
Yeah.
bringing them closer to Christ. That should be his job, not raising money for the church, which actually didn't go to the church. Like, it blew my mind that he had his own living quarters. I mean, Josh said that, oh, well, it was there for, you know, visiting pastors and speakers and things like that. I get that, but that's what hotels are for. I don't understand why he needed his own living quarters, in which case he used to, again, accusations, hearsay, we don't know for a fact. But one man talked about how he was his assistant. Are you familiar with the
Oh
story,
yeah,
Robyn?
of Garrett, absolutely.
Yes,
And Garrett is one of many personal assistants that have been put in that very position.
that is horrific. It's absolutely horrific.
Yeah, his story was
Um,
terrifying.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember who we were listening to. Because it was
Ohio Freedom.
Ohio for Freedom,
Ohio
Everett.
for
it
Freedom.
was,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he made a very good point. No man would say this stuff if it weren't true, publicly especially.
Correct.
Like, and it's just it was just uh, to give those of you context who don't know what we're talking about. I'm going to try to say this lightly because we are on YouTube. Um, the male personal assistant was forced to take direction of what he was to do for the day, while Rod Parsley stood there completely the way he entered this world.
Unclothed.
Unclothed,
Mm-hmm.
that would be the word.
Mm-hmm.
In a private quarters, like a living room. I believe you said it's a living room, bathroom, and bedroom,
Oh, it's
Josh.
large.
Yeah.
It's probably um I mean, close to 2,000 square feet. I mean, it's got a library, it's got a full kitchen, it's got a very large living area, a very large bedroom with a big bathroom with a whirlpool tub. Yes, it's large. I mean, you could live there very comfortably. And I never knew anyone else to stay in there but Rod. But of course, there were many years that I was not there. So,
Hmm. That's bigger than my apartment.
That's twice the size of the condo that I'm in right now.
well, and then you have all of these Valor students that are, basically free labor because they only pay them $10 an hour, and then 80% of their paycheck goes back to the school to pay off their school bill. So they are essentially making $2 an hour, and these are the people that go and pick up their fast food, go and do their grocery shopping, go get their dry cleaning, scrub their tubs, mop their floors, make their meals, plate their meals, mow their lawn, pull their weeds.
Wow.
This is, yes.
Yeah, I wasn't
So,
aware of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
wow, that is a word that I don't want to say on YouTube, but that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah,
It's like he has servants
it
instead of
is.
employees.
Correct.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It sounded like the indentured servants that I learned about.
Yes.
You know,
That's exactly what I called them.
is it?
Hmm.
Indeed, I called them indentured servants. And the sad thing is that a lot of these young people, they think that I mean, just like Garrett, he was young and impressionable. He had been watching Rod Parsley on TV all of these years. Rod was his idol, and he wanted to be a preacher because of Rod Parsley. And so these young people think that they're coming to get this impartation and get all of this training from this great man of God. And they get there and find out either they're not, special enough to get close enough to Rod Parsley, or they are the ones that are chosen to be right there with Rod, but it's in one of the, it's very demeaning, it's belittling, they get berated constantly. And so their impressions quickly change, but then everyone surrounding them, when if they go to talk to somebody, to try to understand what is happening, then they're just told that they need to keep their mouths shut, and that if they would keep their mouth shut, they're going to learn. They can't question, the man of God. And so this is reiterated from everyone. And so this is the environment that they're living and operating in 24/7.
And that blows my mind that there's so many of them and only these two people that
Yeah.
they continue to take it. That, like I said, they only have power because they allow them to keep it. They
Hmm.
could leave. They could stand up as a large group. And but like we both said, it's like abused spouses. They can't. They
Yeah.
feel like they do not have the power to do so.
Well, that's good because I think, it sounds to me like it's still the same way as it was when I was, there, is that, the culture of that place is, control. They,
Hmm.
they want the money. They like the money, but with the, I think they like the control of people, better, and, having that say over them and say, you know, you need to do this, or you can't leave. You need to stay. You need to, sow a seed and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what it was. I think it's just, uh, it's just the way the culture has always been. It seems like it still is that way. They just want to be in control of,
Now
people.
the congregation is so large.
Not
If you like that with
anymore.
oh, it's not.
No,
That's
they got
wonderful.
about 200 people there on a Sunday morning.
Oh, that's good.
Are
That's
you
a good that's
Yes,
serious?
good news.
I am serious. I can send you guys some pictures and some videos.
Oh,
Josh,
that's
you
amazing.
especially will be shocked because you saw it in its heyday. Yeah, and even Dominion Camp Meeting, they don't even, the very back rows and the risers
Behind the
for
curtains.
Dominion Camp Meeting, those don't even come out anymore. So Dominion Camp Meeting, they might get 2,500 people, which is, it's a 5,800 seat tabernacle. So 2,500 for Dominion Camp Meeting, but and then a couple hundred on Sunday morning. So yes, there is an effect, because when I left there were probably 1,200 people coming on a Sunday morning, and it is not that way anymore.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
It is. It's amazing news that people said enough and left. That's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, I don't understand how so like are there some people, and it still may be like this with 200 people. Are there some people who come to church that are unaware of these politics, unaware of the behavior? They just come to church and then leave, or is everyone involved to some degree where they know it's all like everyone knows this is happening?
I think everyone knows at this point. um because you're always going to have the faithful few, right, that no matter what they hear, that they're going to still support Rod Parsley and the machine. But everyone knows about the podcast, right? And so the even if they say they don't know about it, they know about it because everyone's told they're not allowed to watch it. But they watch, I mean, they watch every week. And but many of these people have seen things over the years, right? But they find a way to kind of justify it or say, well, he is human, maybe he was just having a bad day. And they don't realize necessarily that this is a pattern and this is actually who his true character is. But I think Rod's having a very hard time nowadays hiding anything. So back when Josh was there, Rod had a lot more charisma. He had both of his parents and a lot more henchmen around him to sort
Mhm.
of shield him and protect him. He doesn't have that anymore. And his daughter, is him but minus the charisma and all of what's the word, just nastiness that she participates in. And so there, you can't cover that part up either. And so everyone that is still there is very much aware of what they're involved in. And they and there's, I guess, they're okay to still associate and participate by showing up and giving them money.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
so that makes me kind of wonder about one of the other questions I had, with the whole, with 250 people in, Sunday morning service. It's not going to be a very big offering. Um, so has that affected? Because I had never heard of this before until I found your channel about the Harvest Church Network, or
Oh,
is that what it's
City
called?
Harvest Network.
City
Yeah.
Harvest Network. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, which basically sounded to me like, if I understood correctly, is that he's basically franchising out the name World Harvest. Pay us a fee. You can use our name and be affiliated with us, and grow. Um, is that kind of the idea?
Oh
And
yeah, it's like their own pseudo religion basically. So these churches can sign up to be under City Harvest Network. They get ordained through City Harvest Network, and they pay a fee to become a member, but they also have to send a percentage of their tithes and offerings every month
wow.
to World Harvest. Um, and I would say they definitely are making some money off of that. But the unfortunate thing that we're uncovering is that many of these other churches and pastors that are the ones that are getting elevated by Rod Parsley and World Harvest Church are the very ones that are perpetrating the same behavior on their staff and on their congregation. And um and so you have this trickle down effect of, okay, these people went to the Bible college, they saw these people saying one thing on stage, but then they go, and treat people awful and uh you know do the very things that they're preaching against. And so then these people go out and they start their churches, they get propped up and elevated by Rod Parsley and World Harvest Church. And then before you know it, they have their own scandals going on.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I just said, like, I was looking forward to. I'd seen that you were going to have a pastor uh,
From City Harvest,
from
yeah.
City Harvest, and then decided not to. But
Well, he backed out. Yeah, he backed out of it and said that God told him that we weren't supposed to put our mouth on Rod Parsley and he's still God's anointed. And so then, I had to rebut him and actually use put the scriptures in the correct context. And then it was very much a back and forth. And the thing is like, there's no pressure to come on my podcast. Like but he was the one that reached out to me and was talking very out of pocket about what he would do if he were in these scenarios, and he had no idea that, you know that he was a part of something like this until he heard the podcast, and then he didn't want to be affiliated with them anymore. But then he starts backtracking. So is that them getting a hold of him, and him being worried and scared, that to put his face on Megamaniacs? Or uh does he have his own things that he's trying to cover up, and own skeletons in his closet that he doesn't want to be truthful and honest about, and he's worried about, people coming out and talking about who his true character is? And so, we're all human. We've all made mistakes. We've all done and said things that we wouldn't necessarily want on a billboard or broadcasted to the world. But we're also not pretending to be one thing, and then we're the exact opposite of that. And if we make a mistake, we can say, hey, I made a mistake, or I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have said that. There is not so much ego and so much pride that we think that we are faultless and that we don't make mistakes. I mean, that's crazy. But we're also not calling ourselves preachers, right? The
Yeah.
Bible is very clear that very few people are called to be preachers and teachers, because you are held to a higher standard. And there's also things that you should have in order before you take on that position. And I don't believe that many of these mega pastors, they don't care about any of that. They see a very lucrative business model. They see that there's not a lot of accountability that comes with it, especially if they get their family and their buddies in certain positions, and then they're off to the races.
Yeah.
I had another question. I don't know if you know anything about it, but are are you familiar with all the properties that Rod Parsley has purchased?
Yes.
Do you have any idea why so many properties have been purchased? We were just speculating on it when we saw it in one of the videos. So I was just curious if you had any insight, just out of curiosity.
Well, so Rod's mom was a realtor, and that was, I think Rod got his broker's license, right after high school, or because his mom, she made a decent amount of money just being a realtor. Um, but based on what I can see, because they also have a lot of LLCs that they have set up, that some of them don't really look like they're doing a whole lot. Some of them might be doing something. They might be, have some things going in and out. But we know that there's at least one offshore bank account, if not more. Some of the properties that I found when I was really sort of digging into that, they appeared that they could possibly be shell companies, because they did have business names. But I know at least one of them was kind of in a strip mall, and there wasn't really anything going on there. So why would you have that property and just have it vacant? So and there were, there's several properties that were out in California, and sort of sporadically throughout the United States. But I, unless we heard it from the horse's mouth, I mean, I think that it would all be speculation, unless we had cold hard facts about it.
No,
Hmm.
I agree, and that's why I was bringing this up. You mentioned they could be shell companies,
Hmm.
and you were mentioning, of course, we're all human. We make mistakes, but this is showing like a pattern of deception.
Sure.
He is trying to deceive the congregates who are giving all this money, taking this money that's supposed to be for the church and moving it to shell companies to hide it, to
Mm-hmm.
use it for his own personal gain. And it's it 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 just gets to me that you're in this position of power where people look to you, trust you. They they they're doing anything they can for him, and he just uses them and abuses them for his own financial gain, his own, I guess, his own glory. It bothers me that he thinks of himself so close to God, and it just upsets me. It just upsets
Mm-hmm.
me. That's all. I just wanted to. That's why I was curious if. So you
Yeah,
just confirm
I
what
would
I was
say
thinking.
we're, yeah, I would say that we're that's much closer to the truth than they just want to have all these properties sitting around, right? I mean, come on.
Hmm. Yeah, like maybe one or two. You're thinking, okay, maybe they're going to have a new church here or a new church there, but it was like 279 properties, and like you said, all across the United States, and the congregate has whittled down to 200. That doesn't make any sense. If anything, you should be selling off things to try to advertise, bring more people in, that sort of thing. But that's not his goal. His goal is to become rich. That is his goal, for
Yeah,
And
sure.
accomplish
stay
that.
that, and stay that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
stay
Yeah.
that way. And I would say, as far as that conglomerate, like City Harvest Network is probably bringing in an okay amount of money, definitely more than what the church is bringing in, but Harvest Prep is still their cash cow. I mean, they are, I would say 80 to 90% of those students are on that Ed Choice voucher, like I said. So they're getting guaranteed, you know, $6,000 to $7,000 per kid. And the last I heard, there was about 800 kids there.
Wow.
So, I mean, I think that's upwards of like $4 million.
That's
Hmm.
Yeah.
I,
And yeah, I mean, but the thing is Sandy, I've shown like actual reports from World Harvest, and even back in like 2021, they were making I mean, they were probably making 18 million a year, but they still had more going out than they had coming in because Rod refuses to get off of broadcast TV, and those spots are, I mean, they were paying millions of dollars a year to be on Daystar and TBN and some of these other networks. I mean, it's an insane amount of money. And then when people in their own congregation and on their own staff try to ask for help from the benevolence fund or help getting some groceries or paying an electric bill, they are absolutely told no, even if they've been giving tithes and offerings to that place for 30 years.
that is a disgrace.
It is, to the point
Wow.
that some of their current congregation members have called me, or I shouldn't say called, they've messaged me for help because they couldn't get it from the church.
I did
Sad.
watch one of your interviews with a woman. I don't remember the exact details, but she was moving. She had to move, and she needed help to move, and they just wouldn't help. And another church came in and packed her all up and got her home to her family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
And
was Mandy. Hmm.
yeah, and it was just heartbreaking. I'm like, that's what your church is supposed to be for. Like that they're supposed to help community members. The Catholic Church around the corner will help community members that aren't even parishioners. They just help whoever needs it. Like and to sit and you know hear of this church raking in millions of dollars, and they just can't even help someone with groceries.
Yeah.
That is just crazy to me. That's crazy.
Well, what's
to me.
crazy is that she said that the tuition now for the school is
Let me mute
$6,000-$7,000.
Next door.
I don't think she knows that we can hear her. Let me mute her.
Okay.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah. So she said the tuition is $6,000 to $7,000 a year now for the students, and I think it was about $3,000 when I was going there. So just the fact that it's almost doubled or over doubled.
Yeah, we were
crazy.
actually just talking about that. We could hear, so we muted you. That's
Oh, I'm
all.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Josh and I just a day or two ago were talking about tuition at the what's it, a prep academy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never
Harvest
get the
Prep.
name right.
Yeah.
And he was saying about $3,000. But he said it's probably more now, and you just confirmed that it's double. It's double now. And I mean, yeah, we do have to realize they do have to pay the teachers and keep the lights on and stuff. But they're still
They didn't
probably
pay them
bringing
very
in.
much.
They're not paying
That's
them.
what I'm
They're
saying.
not paying them much at all. It's when I started there, the starting pay for a teacher was $28,000 a year.
That is a disgrace.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So
28,000.
the tuition doubled, but I bet you the salaries didn't double over the last
Oh
3 years.
no. But I mean, we were able to get. So when I left there, when I started there, the starting pay was 28,000. When I left there, the starting pay, I believe, was 38,000. So we got it raised 10,000 at least. But so how they sell this to the teachers, just so you guys are aware, is anyone that's considered a minister or a commissioned minister. I was considered a commissioned minister. The teachers are considered commissioned ministers. They are allowed to designate a portion of their paycheck to a housing allowance. So, which would be, equal to like a parsonage or a housing allowance for an actual pastor. So your mortgage or your rent, all your utilities, if you have a cleaning service, landscaping service, anything that you can designate as far as being able to keep up your home, you can designate this to a housing allowance, and whatever that portion is not taxed at all, and it does not show up on your W-2.
Oh wow.
So you could make, I mean, and when you're not paying taxes on half of your money, then that increases, your bring home pay quite a bit. So
Yeah.
let's say a teacher's making 38,000, but they designate let's say 17 or 18,000, so almost half of their paycheck to a housing allowance. So now their actual bring home pay is more like 55,000 a year than that 38,000, and then the only thing that's showing up on their W-2 is that taxable portion. So then they fall into another tax bracket when that happens, and so they may in turn be getting much more money back on their taxes. But the caveat to that is, if you accept this ministerial housing allowance, you have to sign a paper that says that because you are a minister, you're going to you are choosing to participate in this housing allowance, but you will not be paying into Social Security. So these teachers and these staff members, because I know staff members that are still working there, that they had this ministerial housing allowance all this, 30 years. They've never paid into Social Security. So then when they go to retire, if they have not built up a 401k or a 403b is what they use at World Harvest, then they have to go get other jobs just to make sure that they have money then going into Social Security. And by then, they've already worked 40 or 50 years with no money going into that fund. And then so they can essentially never retire.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was an option to not pay into Social Security. I thought that was just something that every employer had to do. That's
well,
wild.
no, it's
Not if you're a minister.
Uh,
and I'm confused as to why the income that is taxed, does that go towards Social Security?
The well, Sandy, that's a good question. I've been out of this for a minute. I'd have to look that up, but I don't believe so because I don't think that I know several people, like I said, that still work there, and one of them had to go get a job as the door greeter at Walmart because he had worked there for 20 or 30 years and had been considered a minister and had nothing to show in Social Security.
That's awful. So it's probably all or nothing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think because when you sign off on the paper for the IRS, it's a commissioned, or it's a ministerial paperwork that you sign off and say that I'm accepting the responsibilities that come with this decision, and one of them is that you're not paying into Social Security.
You just become tax exempt.
Correct.
Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing. They should be educating them, like when they say that if you sign up for this, please consider our 403b, or go to your bank and discuss IRAs, CDs, things like that. Take that portion, put it aside. It should be like a something that's in the forefront that they discuss with them, so that they're not left in that situation. And that's just one more thing that they do to hurt the parishioners, to hurt the congregate. It's not
Yeah.
do that.
Well,
That's
and I
crazy.
did have I had those conversations with people, but I mean, that place had been in business, for 30 plus years by the time I started there, right? So then you have all of these people that are actually getting to retirement age and they can't.
See, I know all about that because I will never. I am concerned about that, but for different reasons. But to think about working all those years and then finding out when it's time to collect Social Security, when it's time to retire, that if you do, you'll be getting the minimum for SSI instead,
Yeah.
or Social Security or something like that. It's the minimum. I think the minimum is less. Maybe it's like $1,000 a month, which I don't think anyone could live off of right now.
Mm-mm.
That's just
no
awful.
way.
That is awful. Oh my gosh, it just
Yeah.
goes deeper. You hear about the most awful things, but it's little things like that. It all adds up, and it just, for those that really devote themselves to this church, taking jobs, things like that, it can be a nightmare. Well,
Hmm.
it is a nightmare. It's a
Mhm.
nightmare for most people, from what I've heard. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Um, I don't know if you feel comfortable taking questions from the chat. It's up to you.
Oh, me?
How much
Yeah,
more time
sure.
do you
I'll take
have?
it. Yeah, I can take some questions.
That's usually what we do, but usually, obviously, we normally cover Mandela Effect content. But
Yeah.
how much time do you have left? 'Cause we
Uh,
stream for like 6 hours, 8 hours. I know you don't do that.
Oh yeah,
That's why
yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
asking
don't.
you.
I can. I mean, I was planning us going until like 9:30 or 10. So
Okay, so
Okay.
we're going to continue. Josh has more to ask Robyn, but while we're doing this, if you guys have questions, I will write them down for like 5 minutes or so, because like I'm on an iPad, so I can't put like the question and answer thing. It will kick me out of the StreamYard, like you've been kicked
okay.
out tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll just write them down. But I do ask if you have a question, and I can see Robyn's chat. So if you're in Robyn's chat, you can ask a question there as well. If you want to ask Josh a question, I mean, you can ask me a question, but I don't know much about the church, to be honest with you. Josh does. But if you want to ask a question, please put the letter Q as a capital Q and then write your question. That way it's easy for me to see that you have a question. So for like the next 5 minutes, if you have questions, please write them down, and then we'll ask Robyn and or Josh when they're done speaking. So Josh, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you. Continue, please.
Oh, that's okay. Um, I did see a question in the chat earlier. Somebody was asking about Ashton and if she's she's been in like in and out of bad relationships or if she's married. Something. Yeah, I remember when Ashton was born. Like I was, uh, still going to that church, and
Yeah.
and when I found your channel, and seeing her up there screaming about the people being reprobates and something about their own dung and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't believe that uh, what I was seeing, but
Right.
but somebody was asking about her, like she's not married, correct?
She's not married. She has never been married. She's 36. She'll be 37 this year. She during my time there, she had several affairs with married men within the church, one of them being her best friend's husband, and had to go like on a sabbatical because the wife, her former best friend, found out and was threatening, to go public with the information and was posting some things on Facebook and things like that. But she also, in one situation, I was asked to not only write up two of the female students at the college, but they also worked for the church. So they were students at the college, they worked for the church, and they were also, good friends with Ashton. And they asked me, they, as in my boss and the Parsleys, asked me to write these two young women up and also schedule them for Christian counseling because they were found to be in same-sex relationships. And when I brought one of them into my office, she said, "Well, what are you going to do to Ashton?" And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, "Well, that's who I was engaging in the behavior with." And so then I'm like, "Well, I'm not giving this, I'm not giving you this paperwork, and I had to go back and have a conversation and tell them that if they wanted to move forward with doing that, then that was on them, but I was not going to write these young girls up, and nothing happened to Ashton when they were engaging in the behavior with her. So um the short answer is no, there is no husband. There are, paramours and affairs that go on, but no real relationships. And she seems to be attracted to black men, and her father would never allow her to marry a black man.
Wow.
No way.
Hmm.
There's an interesting question. It's more of a request, not a question.
Okay.
Terrence Hill TV asks, "Tell us about Rod's dog."
I know Terrence is my producer. Tell us about his dog. Well, I don't know which so Rod has had, I don't know where Terrence is going with this, but I'll sort of answer this in two parts. So Rod always, when I worked there, always had guard dogs. So they were trained with I believe they were German commands. They were always German shepherds. Now the dogs were always very kind, but if certain commands were given, they were trained attack dogs. So another layer of like intimidation, if you will. People knew he carried a gun. He shot the guns off in meetings. He had this very belittling personality towards staff members and anybody that was sort of getting in his way. But I know there was a Pastor Dan, that I interviewed on my podcast, and I don't know if that's where Terrence was going with this, but this pastor said that he witnessed when Rod would be in these very angry, bad moods, that and this was not one of the attack dogs. This would have been more of, like a lap dog, that he would kick his dogs, and hurt them. So yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
It is. I have another question. Francine is asking a general one. In your opinion, what is the best way to find a good church?
Well, my opinion is I would either go to a very small church, or a home church, because churches really started off being in people's homes. They were not these larger than life theatrical experiences. It was about having a small community. You read the Bible, you may sing some songs, but everyone was equal, right? So there might be someone that had their interpretation or understanding of what a scripture meant, but then somebody else could say, well, I didn't think about it that way, but this is how I perceived it. And so it's more, there can be someone that is more of the teacher when it comes to those situations, but nobody is elevated above anyone else. And it's more about a not only a learning opportunity, but there's a real desire for people to have a relationship with the Lord, that they're cultivating that relationship, and that it's not about how popular are we, how much money are we getting and giving, because the home churches and the small churches that I know of, when I think of, oh, that's a church, right? It's that they support their community. If someone is in need, they are going to help that person. If someone needs food or clothing or gas money or whatever it is, they're going to be able to help those people, because they're not lining their pockets with the money that is coming in. But I would say, my opinion is, smaller is better. But also, do they have the fruits of the spirit? Are they compassionate? Are they kind? Are they humble? Are they not lording over other people? And I think if you see those things, then you're on the right track. But that doesn't mean that bad things can not happen. And a church is not a building. We are the church. So you don't necessarily have to go to a church building to go to church. But it's, people have preferences, but I would say that that's my 2 cents on it.
I agree 100%. Like if you go to a church and they're telling you that, they're being like, they're I've heard experiences where people have, where if they can't make it to church, they're bad. Like, oh, well, you're not welcome here because you can't make it here 3 days a week. That's what you mean by lording over others, correct?
I mean in that way, but I think it's any time that someone is presenting themselves to be better than you, more connected than you, more blessed than you, they get more miracles than you. Whenever there's anything like that going on, that is a red flag. So that could be, you know, I'm more anointed than you are because these dead people pass their anointings on to me, or I hear from God constantly, so I must be more connected to God than you are. Anytime they're either saying that or you're just getting that impression based on, because sometimes they themselves won't say it, but the people around them are saying it and they're not correcting them, so they're creating this atmosphere where they are closer to God than you ever could be. And so they've got to sort of be your middleman.
No, I agree. And also in another context. So I grew up Catholic,
Mhm.
and there's going to be a question here from the chat about Catholicism. But um, since being in the Mandela Effect community, there are a lot of Christians, and some of them look down upon Catholics, and they
Sure.
conflate the Catholic Church with the congregation. They are not the same.
Mm,
It's like, for example, we are not the president of the United States. We are the people. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Sure.
Sometimes the government makes decisions that we don't agree with, and they do things that we don't agree with. And it's the same way with churches. It's the
Hmm.
same way with all religions. And but there will actually be people who think they're better than Catholics because they are
Hmm.
Christian. And they will tell us we're not Christian. Followers of Christ are
Mm,
Christian.
hmm.
And that's what it is. Now I know there's different, but they're gatekeeping the word Christian. They're taking it away from people who are followers of Christ. Drives me crazy.
Yep.
But
That's what I was
that's
taught.
all.
It was that.
Followers of Christ are Christians.
Yeah, no, in their eyes, only they're people that go to their church and believe their indoctrination are Christians. Catholics aren't Christians,
Exactly.
or uh, Jewish aren't Christians, or I guess I don't know. It depends on how you really want to define Christian, but yeah, Christian I always thought was, yeah, just a follower of Christ, somebody who believed and confessed, uh, to have them as their Lord and Savior, and that he died on, and that's what I was taught. But yeah, uh,
That's a much better way of putting it. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
mm.
Um, in the chat, Woo Riders asks what is the best way, in your opinion, to expose fraud in different churches, like in another church besides World Harvest?
Well, I mean, I think it's happening. I think you see it more and more where these now it might not get as much traction as some of these other, you know, exposés, if you will. But I think that, for me, my goal was to expose World Harvest Church. Now, do I talk about other preachers and churches at times? Absolutely, but I'm typically comparing them with Rod Parsley and what's going on at World Harvest, or you find out that all of these people are connected, and they just cover up for each other and kind of trade, give trade secrets on what the best way is to manipulate people and get, steal their money and time and everything else and have the control. But I think we're all led in different directions. I mean, I thought I was going to write a book. And when I started the podcast, I had never even listened to a podcast. And as you can tell, I am not the most technologically savvy. Okay. So a podcast was definitely not something that I would have thought to do to expose World Harvest. But it's what happened and continues to grow, and there continues to be content. But I think that it's different in every situation. And for me, I didn't know if three people would be interested in listening to what I had to say, but I knew that I had to do it regardless of if three people listened or 3,000 people listened. It didn't really matter to me. It mattered that I was doing what I felt the Lord was leading me to do.
That is a great answer. What is this is the Catholic one.
Okay.
I believe this was David A.K. Logan Freeman. I can't scroll up anymore. What is your opinion on the Catholic diocese and the corruption at the very top? I don't know if you have an opinion.
Well, I mean, personally, anyone that can hurt children or cover up people that hurt children are evil. And I think it's demonic, regardless of who you affiliate with. But I think that's another point, is that you can look at a lot of different religions and sects of religions and see that there's a lot of abuse and corruption that goes on, whether it's child sex abuse, whether it's them covering it up, whether it's them, saying they're raising money for something, and then, you find out that none of the money even went to where you were donating or what you were donating it for. I mean, there's a lot that goes on in these places, and they're pretty much unregulated. But to me, anybody that hurts kids or covers up the kids being hurt, I think that it really needs to be dismantled, regardless of what the religion is.
I couldn't agree more.
I usually say
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, dismantled is a perfect word.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, though. Again, like I was saying, with the people are not the religion, and that's like you were saying. That stuff could be happening anywhere, because
Yeah.
it's the people that are evil within those places.
Yeah.
It's not. Although I do think there's some evil happening. Like, I don't like the fact that there's the Vatican in control of the church.
Yeah.
But that's another thing for another story. But another day. But when it comes to what happened and is probably still happening in the Catholic Church and other churches, it just wasn't brought to light yet. Again, it's bad people doing bad things, and unfortunately, there was a movie, I can't remember the name of the movie, about the expose of the Catholic Church when it released in Boston. I can't remember the name of the movie.
The Keepers.
Excellent
What
movie.
is it? The Keepers.
Maybe it was.
Okay.
It might have been that. I honestly can't remember off the top of my head. Like, that doesn't even strike a bell. But they showed how the church covered it up, and it was awful. But the people weren't covering it up. They were the ones coming forward. It was their children that were the victims. And sometimes the people are the ones treated with disdain, and it's not right. It drives me crazy.
I would say in most cases that's how it happens. But that's the thing, is that these monsters, they hide in plain sight in these churches or cults, whatever you want to call them. And so I mean, you have to be on your guard at all times with your children, regardless of if you think that you're in a trustworthy environment or not. You have to be on guard, because this is the very place that oftentimes these people thrive in, because no one expects it.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely, like you said, they put their guard down, but that's the problem. They abuse that power,
Hmm.
and that it is they're hidden in plain sight, just like you said. That's the best wording ever because they have access to the children
Hmm.
for school, for Sunday school. It's just it's awful,
And
and
any
you are
age
absolutely
group,
right.
any age
Yes.
group that they would want to target, it's all at their fingertips. And the I mean, I I have I don't want to say a hatred, because I try not to hate, but um as far as children being hurt in any capacity,
Mhm.
I that strikes home for me. And in my opinion, it's unforgivable.
Oh,
It
I
is
agree.
unforgivable.
I agree. It is absolutely unforgivable. You steal their innocence. It's horrible. Okay, we're moving on to William Eason. Do you think those who take advantage of their followers have an internal narcissistic, if not evil, personality from the beginning? Or is it more of a slippery slope once some money power is gained?
I think it can be a mixture of both. I think that it. Well, I liken it back to um, when Satan tried to tempt Jesus, right? Like, I'll give you and anything you could imagine if you just follow me, and and so I don't know that some of these people actually audibly say, I'm gonna I'm gonna take this money, and I'm gonna take this power, and I'm gonna lead these people astray for my own gain. I don't know that they say that, but I think that, yes, that especially if their calling is greater than their character, okay, I think, or what they perceive to be their calling is greater than what their character is. I think these people are very easily swayed, especially after you start introducing some fame and fortune and control, that they could definitely be going down the wrong path rather quickly. But I also think that there are other people that are very much um, ingrained with this narcissism, but they see a very lucrative business model, and it was never about leading people to the Lord. It was never about having a real calling on their life that they feel is from the Lord. They see, this business model looks good. We don't have a lot of oversight or accountability. If we set ourselves up this way, then we really don't have a board that can vote against us. And we put our family and friends in these positions, and we can, I mean, Rod's been going is at it for about 50 years now. And no one's ever been able to bring this guy down after all the lawsuits and all the stuff that's been uncovered about him. I mean, that's wild.
It is
And that's what
wild.
I'm saying. There's people around him that are protecting him,
Sure.
and lawyers, I'm sure, but it's just,
Sure. The money's running out though, Sandy.
mhm,
The
that's
money's
a good
running
thing.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, that
That
means
is
that the
wonderful.
protection is going to be shortly running out too,
That's right.
and the power and yeah.
But the thing
I mean,
is he needs to worry more. He don't need to worry about me and my podcast and what I'm saying, or anybody else for that matter. He needs to worry about the wrath of God on him, not me
yes.
or anybody else.
You know,
Yes.
Because that is going
Absolutely.
to happen, and it might happen while he's still on this side too. Because the more that you have opportunities to repent and because he could have taken accountability for this and said, listen, I have screwed up royally. I took advantage of you guys. I made bad decisions. I should have sat myself down and my daughter and everybody else when I knew this stuff was going on. I'm going to step back. I'm going to get help for myself. I'm going to get help for my family. And if the Lord calls us back to this, great. If not, we're going to have real people of God to come and take over. And that could have not only repaired a lot of the damage that was done, but it could have taken them in a different direction. When you are presented with these opportunities and it's in black and white, you cannot refute the stuff that has been said and done by these people. And instead of apologizing, repenting, making a, a public penance to these people, they just pretend like it never happened and that they are actually the victims. And you only got so much time. I mean, you will continue to be exposed if you continue to turn your back on God. And I think that that is what we're seeing with a lot of these mega ministries, is that there's a lot of them in really hot water right now. And it's just going to get hotter.
Yeah.
That's great. I want it to get hotter.
Yeah, and it should. Absolutely. Because even the worst people, the Lord does not want anybody to go to hell, right? Like even these awful people, he's still like, hey, I'm trying to throw you a lifeline here. And even when we think they don't deserve it, right? He's still trying to give them opportunities, and these people are like, no, we've done nothing wrong. We're blessed because we're rich, and
Mm-hmm.
then they continue, and their pride and ego is so huge that even if they know they're wrong, they certainly will not say it.
There's a reason why pride is a deadly sin.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Julie says, do you all know about Rod's Freemasonic, sorry, I haven't said that word in a long time,
Yeah.
headstone that
Yes.
Everett, okay, so can you tell us about it? Because I'm unaware of it. Josh, are you aware of it? The Ohio for Freedom, the headstone that Ohio for Freedom showed?
Not the headstone, but I have seen about the swords that he has hanging in that has the Masonic symbolism on it. The ceremonial sword he got passed down from Lester Summerall in like a weird ritual up on stage.
Oh, that was weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
And I remember that. I mean, that was I think that was back
during
in the
your
day.
time.
That was during my time I was there. I remember that service. So yeah.
And they used a Nazi, Lester Summerall said it was a Nazi sword with a swastika on it. That's how he says swastika. Yeah. He says swastika. And he chose to use that Nazi sword instead of another sword that had not seen battle and blood and all this craziness. So Garrett actually lives, Garrett, the personal assistant that was on, talking about Rod walking around naked. He lives down in that same area where Rod's family came from in Eastern Kentucky. So they went on findagrave.com and found the Parsley and Endicott graves. And when they went there, the Parsley Endicott, I don't even, I mean, it's more than a headstone. Okay. It's large. It also has lots of Masonic symbolism included in it. And so we've tried to get definitive information on, now it appears that they definitely have ties to Freemasonry, based on how they operate, the symbolism that they use. But no one's ever come out and said, yes, he's a 33rd, degree Freemason or whatever the case is. But it certainly points in that direction.
I was going to see if I could find it, but I'm not finding it.
I'll find it for you, Sandy, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
While I look for the next question, because I did see one, there's a message for you in the private chat, a short one.
Okay.
Someone needs to kick Rod to Sarah.
Oh, for kicking his dog.
Oh, sure. Yes, please,
Yeah.
Sandy. Yeah. Please.
Okay, yeah,
please
we
share.
definitely will.
Okay.
Daniel Riffle asks, was Parsley ever accused of same-sex behavior ironically? Figuratively, ironically, at all. We'll say at all.
I'm just making myself a note to send you that headstone. So, no one has said that, Rod has tried to make any like actual moves on them, right? But I know of at least four males. I know of four males that have either been personal assistants to Rod or worked very closely with him and were put in the exact same situation as Garrett. Now, they all perceived it more as like a power move to show how much control he had over people, that he could behave that way. They took it more as that than like a come on. But Rod also walks around naked in front of his daughter, and his daughter walks around naked in front of him, and his daughter walks around naked in front of other staff members too. So it's more of a power move, I think. But I don't know if they still do it, but when I worked there, once a year they would go on a hunting trip, and only males could go on these hunting trips. And several males have said that they would never be able to say what happened on those hunting trips, that they would go to their graves knowing, like, with that information.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It's just, that's, again, any age, like you were saying, at any age, they have access. All they have to do is choose. It's horrible. That's horrific.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Josh, I put the link in the private chat. Can you please share that so we can put it on screen?
Yep.
And I did pin it to the top of the chat. I don't know if you want to pin it to the top of your chat. I'm sure they've seen it before in your chat. But we are sharing Robyn's change.org petition. Robyn, do you want to explain the petition?
So I started this, wow, it's been a while when I started this change.org, but we're I didn't even know this was a thing until I saw it happen with Faith Life Church, which is another church in Ohio that actually was sort of a spinoff of World Harvest Church. And the the pastor's kid was a pedophile, and he's in jail now and waiting trial. But we started this change.org petition to demand an investigation into World Harvest Church by the Attorney General, or the criminal. I think it's the criminal investigation unit of the police department, not just in one area, but in every area possible, whether it's financial, the the claims of abuse and child abuse, the fact that there are firearms being used on school property. I mean, I mean, you can't, you're not even supposed to have any weapons at all when you're in a school environment, and this guy is shooting off guns. And that's the other thing. All of these things happen, right? And nobody reports it. So there were, 12 to 15 people in that meeting. Not one person made even an anonymous phone call that this happened. And I'm not necessarily faulting them, but it's more to say this is the brainwashing that people are under when they're in these environments.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to do whatever we have to do to shine light on it and to give it the attention that it needs.
Oh, I completely agree. And that's why sometimes people around the problem, you could say that they're complicit, they're part of the problem, but other
Yeah.
times, like I said, it's like an abused spouse.
Correct. That's right.
They are too scared to speak up.
That's right.
But there's the petition. I think you do need 1,000 signatures before they send it to the next step.
Yeah,
It's
that's
almost
right.
there, guys. 959. There's
Almost
so many
there.
more people watching right now that are needed to reach this goal. Just please go over and sign it. If you feel Rod's a bad dude, that the church has done things, looked away, this is how you can act. All you got to do is sign it.
Yep.
Ryan asks, it is pinned at the top of my chat. I don't know if it's pinned at the top of Robyn's. I can't pin hers. Josh is not sharing, so I will go put it. Josh, if you could, actually. Could you take that link and put it into the Rumble chat, please?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Really, it's
that.
no problem. My question is, does Rod Parsley have his own airstrip and plane like Copeland on his property? And that comes from Ryan Martin.
Not on his property. He does so for quite some time. He did own a private jet. I don't know that he actually owns one anymore, but he does have access to one. That because he does not fly commercial anywhere. So they have it's out in. Is it like Muskegum? It's somewhere in that, like out east from Pickerington and Canal Winchester. There's a little airport out there, and that's where his private plane is. And he, he has it chartered wherever he wants to go.
And that's just money going up in flames.
Oh, it's 10,000. It's 10,000 each way when he flies from um we're east of Canal Winchester to Elkhart, Indiana, because he, God forbid he be in a car for 5.5 hours like he requires everybody else to do. He takes his 45-minute flight there and 45-minute flight back, and it's $10,000. I mean, I've seen the invoices.
Each way.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what people are paying for.
If he
Yep.
just flew first class, no more than 2,000 both ways.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
And it could be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, it's the luxuries that everyone else is not afforded.
Yeah, he must be in the same boat as Kenneth Copeland, where he doesn't want to fly in a big long
The
metal
tube of
tube full
demons,
of demons. Yeah.
well, him and Kenneth are good buddies. I mean, the hallway where my office was, so the hallway I walked down to get to my office when I worked there was the Hall of Swords. But then if you turned left, that hallway was pictures of Rod and his family, and then all of these people that he put on a pedestal. And Kenneth Copeland was front and center, man.
Yeah. So I got a question for you real quick.
Sure.
In your time that you were there, did he still have um, the door from like behind the stage, the backstage door that was, that was Rod's door. Like, I remember being there, and we used to do like, go into the sanctuary for doing plays or singing or whatever, and sometimes it'd be on stage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very adamant that there was one door that nobody was allowed to walk through at all. Like, the only person that was allowed to go through that door was Rod.
Huh. I didn't know. I haven't heard that. Now, that's not to say it isn't the same way, but no, I that was one thing that I actually have not heard.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the weirdest things, because I mean, they stressed it. They didn't care about anything else. They're like, you can't go through that door, and basically nobody else could go through that door. He was the only one that was allowed to, use that door to. I don't know where it led to. If it was like a secret, escape
Yeah.
passageway or something, or just a back way to get to his living quarters or something. But I don't know. I was just wondering if you
Huh.
ever heard of that.
I haven't.
Woo Riders asks, has Robyn found herself being targeted in her community for exposing the church?
No. It's everyone's very supportive. I mean, it's not like, I when people say, "Oh, you just have church hurt," whatever. And this, to me, this goes beyond church hurt. Church hurt is like the pastor said something from the pulpit that was offensive to you in some way, right? It's not being treated like garbage, being required to buy blessings and buy miracles, and having enough faith and money to get these blessings and miracles from God, like he's some kind of genie. I get, here and there I might have a heckler on my episodes or in my live chats, but I've not been targeted by any. I mean, I got sued, but they dropped it.
Oh wow.
So yeah. But that was an affiliate of Rod's, right? So um some of my guests made comments on my podcast, and so that was a little stressful to go through, but otherwise nothing major.
Okay. Mr. Who asks, why do so many pastors take the offering right after praise and worship? It's when the people are most emotionally vulnerable. So is it God instructed, or is it psychology 101?
Oh yeah, it's definitely psychology, but they also I mean, I know at World Harvest specifically in the music department at the college, they are taught which chords invoke which emotional responses. So they're only allowed to play certain chords before they are going to take up an offering. And people think that what they're feeling is like a stirring of the Holy Spirit, when in fact it's just psychology and knowing what chords to play to invoke these emotions in people.
Really quickly, Spotlight. That was the movie.
Okay.
Excellent. It's an excellent movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I
Highly
haven't seen it.
recommend it.
Okay.
Oh, it's how they broke the story of the priests,
Oh,
and
okay.
like
I think I
step
wanted to
by
see
step.
this. Okay.
So it was excellent. Thank you so much, Woo Riders. Let's see, just making sure there's no more. I'm going to ask the question stop because it is after 10 o'clock. Let's see, making sure I'm not missing any.
Well, speaking of movies, have you ever seen the movie Leap of Faith, Robyn?
No.
Oh yes.
From I think it's 1992. Steve Martin.
Oh, I
And
saw that you guys were playing it,
yeah.
and oh, look, there's Everett. Um
Hello.
Oh, hey.
I saw that you guys were watching it with Steve Martin, and you guys were going to do like a question and answer, or like a response after watching it, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, we're gonna do a watch party. We are
A
going to just
watch
go to
party.
because
Okay, okay. I
yeah,
knew I
because
saw something.
Rumble does not care about anything. You can play whatever you want there,
Okay.
but I don't keep it up. I take it down afterwards. I just, because I don't think that's right to, you know, copyrighted material. But we all go there and we watch it together and we can talk about it, things like that. And I was fast. I had no idea that some of the things were probably taken directly from Rod Parsley. Some of the
Yeah. Well,
mannerisms.
the Righteous Gemstones, I mean, it can be a little raunchy at times, but when I've seen episodes of Righteous Gemstones, I'm thinking, did they go and take this right out of Rod Parsley's playbook, man? Because it's like it's so right on. They would have to have insider information when it comes to some of that.
Yeah. Well, rumor had it. The reason I asked is because, and why we're
Not
doing,
rumor.
huh? Oh, okay.
You keep saying rumor had it, but I've seen interviews where he said that he did that thing. So
Okay.
you go ahead, you tell them.
Yeah. Well, like I remember hearing when that movie came out, he got up on stage and said, forbid anybody from watching that movie, and it was a horrible movie, and this and that, and then later on, I heard that Steve Martin actually went undercover in disguise and visited some of these churches, and that World Harvest was one of them,
Oh,
along with like Benny Hinn.
yeah,
And so if you watch the movie, you'll see all these different things. But there's one thing that he does when he like starts yelling. He lifts up one of his legs and starts like hopping on one foot across the stage and like leans back. And that was
yeah.
exactly one of the things that Rod did a lot. And so I kind of tended to believe that. And I'm wondering if you had ever heard that. But
No, I haven't, but I'm gonna check it out for sure.
yeah, no, it was a pretty good movie. But he didn't want anybody watching it because the whole premise of it is that it was this con artist going around doing camp meetings
That's
and
right.
just yeah. So yeah, he
Robbing
didn't
people blind, man.
exactly.
A little off topic. Hi, Jeff. He's my old co-host. Jeff and Francine are both in the chat. I just want to say that.
Hi, Jeff and
And
Francine.
yeah, I'm letting them know so they can talk to one another. But um, I was going to say, oh, Josh, I am so sorry. I thought you were going to say something else. Because he said to me, rumor has it that Steve Martin went into the churches,
Yeah.
like undercover, but I'm sure they knew who he was, but he was taking notes. But I have seen an interview where he absolutely said he did that. So that's not a rumor. He actually said he did that. Not Rod
Nice.
Parsley, but that he went to these evangelical churches and, studied the mannerisms, studied what happened so that he could give a more authentic performance.
Yeah. Well, he did pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find that interview. I'd be curious to watch that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that change.org petition up here while I double check to make sure I didn't miss any questions. I think we did get all the questions.
Yeah, I think I didn't see any that you missed.
Yeah, so I normally ask this on every show, so I'm going to ask you now. Is there anything you'd like to share with us that Josh hasn't asked you about already? Anything that you think our audience and your audience would like to know about the church, Rod Parsley? Anything that you'd want to add to wrap it up?
I don't really think so. I would say the only thing is, the evidence is out there. People can watch and come to their own conclusions. But I'm actually doing an interview tomorrow that will hopefully air next Tuesday. And the gentleman actually went to World Harvest Bible College before it became Valor back in the late 90s. And he became a pastor, and now he's actually going to law school to become an attorney so that he can help people that have been abused and taken advantage of in these religious businesses. And so I he's got a lot of great information that we're going to talk about, some things that's not been heard before, but obviously very credible as well, that he had these experiences. He became a pastor and then is now becoming an attorney. And this is a time frame. The 90s are a time frame at World Harvest that I don't have a lot of people coming forward to tell their stories and tell their experiences. And so that's a time frame that I'm very interested in hearing about.
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Um, Josh is sharing your shorts, but just take shorts off, everyone, and then I'll take you to the main channel at the end. In the description, I do have your channel links.
Cool.
So if
Thank you,
anyone,
Sandy.
oh, you're welcome.
Oh, it's already in the
Anytime.
description. I didn't even
It's,
realize it.
yep,
Yeah.
it's in the description, and I didn't know if you wanted me to share the petition, so I will add the petition to the description if you're watching
Perfect.
this on replay.
Yeah,
All right.
I wish I could find that rap. I think it was Mr. Who that did it.
Oh yeah, he did.
That
Yes.
that was the greatest the greatest song. It was so funny. Uh, I wish I could
It's
find it
on
and
your
share it.
page. I saw it on your page earlier today. I made sure I subscribed to both of your channels, and I did see it on
Oh,
your
thank you.
page today, Josh. So it
Oh,
is there. Yeah,
okay.
That is awesome. Thank you.
of course.
We're gonna have to ask you about the Mandela Effect another time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll come back on.
Cool.
All
Well, I
right.
appreciate you being here. It was awesome talking to you and sharing, some updates on. Yeah, it was good.
Great.
This is yeah. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for especially talking with Josh. I think he really needed this. Like really, really needed this.
Yeah.
And I want to thank both Robyn's chat, Robyn's followers, my chat and followers. Thank you for being here and being open, especially my followers being open to this, because this is not my usual content. Um, but it is very, I mean, this was a great show. And I do want to ask those of you who are interested in the watch party, and if you're on Robyn's channel, you're welcome to join us. Stick around. I'm going to end Rumble with this stream. So, because you can only make one Rumble stream at a time. And while we're still here, maybe we'll, I don't know, maybe you could show a couple of Mandela Effect presentations, or we can listen to Angels All Around Me by Morgan or something. It's a great song. One of our friends and followers, Morgan, has a really great song. So maybe we'll end on that song. But I will create the stream for the Leap of Faith watch party. That way you
Oh,
know
cool.
where I could put the link in the chat. People know where to go. But I mean, if you have to go, you're welcome to go, but you're welcome to stay too. It's up to you. But I do need to say goodbye to Rumble so that I can make the Rumble stream. And Josh, you're going to be in charge while I do this. So what would you like
Oh
to do? Do you
no.
want me to play the song? Do you want me to give you a couple of Mandelas to show? What do you want me to do?
You can play the song. Yeah, I'm not good at being in charge. No,
I'm going to need more time than the song, just to let you know. You can show the new Mandela Effect, the Groundhog Day one again, if you want to do that. It's long enough for me to create the, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you're gonna put it in the private chat.
Actually, you're going to have to, it's not in Flickr. Flickr was down yesterday.
Yeah. Right.
Like, so down that.
Oh. Oh, right. It's in Messenger then.
Yeah, you'd have to scroll up. And they're in order. You just start at the top pile and move on from there. It starts with a blue and a pink groundhog.
Y'all, thank y'all
But
so much. I do have to hop off, but I appreciate y'all, and let's talk again at some point.
Yeah,
sure, just send
sounds
us an
great.
email.
All
We're
Yep.
right.
here.
Sounds
Thank
good,
you,
y'all. Thank
Robyn.
you. Thank
Yep.
Have a
you.
great night.
You too.
Yep.
Bye,
Good night.
everyone.
Bye. All right, guys. I am going to play Angels All Around Me. If you want to hear that, just listen, Robyn. Like, wherever you want. So this is from Morgan. Isabella Live 2.0. Angels All Around Me. And when we come back, Josh should be ready.
Watching all the clocks run backwards, slowly choking out my lungs, throwing all the stones around me until all that's left is one. Youth and age haunt me nightly until their master's work is done. Give to all just what they're asking, while sex and death is all flesh wants. And while I've got angels all around me, lighting the fires that free men from feeling, send your waters inside me. Feel your spirit inside me again. The promised life will time in mind you. Pace cuts taking all that's gold. Perspective curve my thought around you. Milk my blood until it turns. All depressed and leaves you thirsty. A start to call robots home. Our soul, our forging decisions bleeding until all have made their choice. While I've got angels all around me, lighting the fires that free men from failing, send your waters inside me. Feel your spirit inside me again. Watching all the clocks run backwards, slowly choking out my lungs, throwing all the stones around me until all that's left is one. Youth and age haunt me nightly until their master's work is done. Give to all just what they're asking, while sex and death is all flesh wants.
Okay, Rumble is gone. Now I have to go and make the Rumble link for the show. So I don't see. Oh, you're all set. Okay.
Yep.
So Josh will be presenting. I presented this last night, but for those of you that missed it, possible brand new Mandela Effect with Groundhog Day. Mandela Effects with Groundhog Day. Hey Ken. Hey guys, I'm sorry I didn't do shout outs tonight. So hello. I'm sorry. I see you though. I see all of you. All the flickers are down. Not anymore. They're back, but they were down. Like I thought they were being hacked. It was that bad last night. I'll put your full screen to make it easier to see because you can't zoom.
Oh yeah,
All right,
right.
take it away, Josh.
All right. Yeah. I discovered something in February 2026 live stream that for me is 100% a Mandela effect. The goal of this presentation is to record it and find out if this is a Mandela effect for you too, or if this has always been like this for you. So 6 more weeks of winter or early spring. Yes or no? Besides Punxsutawney Phil, do you recall there being any other groundhogs or other animals that predict the weather with the same pomp and circumstance as Punxsutawney Phil? So meaning, was Punxsutawney Phil the only one, or was there, a lot of them? I guess is the question. Did we lose Sandy altogether? It sounds like we did. All right, so let me go over to the chat real quick and see if we can get any
No,
answers.
I'm muted. I'm making the
muted.
stream.
Okay. Kitty Cattywack says yes. Pushing button says no, I do not. Hey, Robyn. Oh, Ormane's here. What's up, Ormane? Salad says Warrington Willie. Which, yeah, I just heard of that one, I think last night for the first time. I did remember we had one in here in Columbus called Buckeye Chuck. But I always figured that was just a local thing. Francine says no way. Salad says yep. All right. And then question number 2, yes or no? And speaking of Punxsutawney Phil, do you recall Phil the groundhog being immortal? If yes, how? I must have missed this part of the presentation last night. I must have still been at work or something, because I don't even remember seeing this question before, but I would say no, I don't remember him being immortal. I just thought when one died, they'd get another groundhog and replace him and just still call him Phil. So Kitty Cattywack says no. Noise Guru says me and Phil have been around for thousands of years. Yeah, see, that's what I thought, Bomber. She said there were replacements when they passed. Pushin says definitely not. Daniel says no to Phil being immortal. Little Cam says eons, I tell you. So yeah, I'd never heard of him being immortal. I have never heard anyone from the media, the movie, or local word of mouth ever mention that Punxsutawney Phil is immortal, or that he is given a magic elixir to keep him alive 130 years and counting. Have you ever heard this? And then the myth is Punxsutawney Phil, the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club insists there's only one Phil, a groundhog who lives to be over 130 years old, thanks to a special drink he gets at the summer picnic. Yeah, no, that's pretty wild. I've never heard of that. Never heard of that. Punxsutawney's groundhog was originally named Briere Groundhog. In 1887, he was the first groundhog to predict when spring would come. And the myth goes, after being renamed Punxsutawney Phil, they began giving him an immortality elixir at the yearly summer picnic. Never heard this before. Just wanted to share this weirdness. Yeah, that's pretty weird. The Mandela effect for me is Punxsutawney Phil isn't special. He isn't the only groundhog predicting spring in my past. Punxsutawney Phil was the only groundhog predicting spring in the USA. There were no others. Now he's not even the only one in Pennsylvania. allgroundhogs.com, allgroundhogday.com. Groundhogday.com lists all the groundhogs predicting spring and how many years they have predicted it. Punxsutawney Phil is still the first, but there are so many copycats. But it's not just groundhogs. Yeah, this was the weird part. We love Potomac Phil. There are other groundhogs: a prairie dog, a duck, a turtle, an armadillo, a lobster, and even two stuffed, taxidermied animals. Flatiron Freddy in Colorado, a yellow-bellied marmot, and Potomac Phil, a taxidermied groundhog in Washington, D.C. How do they know if he sees his shadow? That's ridiculous. This map from groundhogday.com only lists the active Groundhog Day ceremonies that happen in 2026. But in total, there are approximately 78 to 125 animals on Earth that are observed in ceremony fashion to predict the coming spring. Wow, 78 to 125. Outside of the USA, I could have just not known about. But other animals in the USA, in DC, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, no, that's 100% Mandela effect for me. Oh, and there was a turtle in this one. That's crazy. Groundhog turtle. A side note, some sites list Gus the groundhog as a Pennsylvania rival to Punxsutawney Phil. That is not true. Gus does not predict spring. He is just a famous Pennsylvania groundhog because he is the mascot for the Pennsylvania lottery. Why do they have a groundhog as their mascot for a lottery? That seems weird. Another part, which is probably just info I didn't know, is the history of why we even have Groundhog Day. Apparently, for centuries, the Irish, English, and Scottish looked to hedgehogs in Ireland, snakes in Scotland, and birds in England for the same reason, but on February 1st, and with no ceremony until recent years. But it was the Germans who migrated here that formed the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club that started the tradition. They would look to hedgehogs in Germany before bringing the tradition to the United States. Yeah, I've never heard any of this history. Ducks. But no way will you convince me that so many animals are used in the United States to predict spring. I mean, lobster, a duck, a stuffed dead animal. Come on, this has to be a Mandela effect. I've never heard of much of that stuff. Also, a few more questions and info. Since when do they have him on display in a tube? I do not like this. I didn't know that they kept him on display in a tube. Interesting. And since when do they call him Punxsy Phil? I've never heard Punxsutawney Phil shortened to Punxsy Phil. Have you? Yeah, no, I've definitely never heard of that. Not even in the slightest. Excuse me. I also never knew that there were 40 6-foot-tall Punxsutawney Phil statues in Pennsylvania. Did you? Not a Mandela, I'm sure, but interesting enough to share. Ormine says, I can't see it. My eyes are rolling in the back of my head. And Daniel Riffle says no to the tube thing. Yeah, no, I've never seen him in a tube being on display. Oh, these are the 6-foot statues, I'm guessing. Here's just PXY. He loves himself. Got his shirt says, I love Punxsy. Nice. Oh, Statue of Liberty, of course. Including this Statue of Liberty one, which is almost perfect residue. Torch in the left hand, book in the right, feet down, no shackles, and a red bar flag. Oh, that's interesting. Still is kind of plump, though. It's the only thing that I didn't even get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And Wendy's. Another residue is Wendy Thomas. Wendy's Phil has braids, not those weird tied ponytails she has now. Huh. Yeah, I don't know about the Wendy's one. I should, because I grew up eating Wendy's. But more info I never knew. Punxsutawney Phil is a husband and a father. He lives with his wife Phyllis and 2 kids in their man-made burrow at the Punxsutawney Library, where they can be visited all year long. Never knew this, did you? Sunny and Shadow were born in 2024. And he's 130 years old and still having kids, huh? It's crazy. They're cute, though. Some of the other animals that are famous in their area for predicting the weather on February 2nd, like Punxsutawney Phil. So, we get the turtle. Oh, what is this, like a walrus? I can't see it. I can't zoom in. Some of the other animals that are famous in their area for predicting the weather on February 2nd, like Punxsutawney Phil. A white squirrel?
I am back. And I am dropping the link to the watch party in the chat on Rumble. It says starting in 5 minutes, but we're going to just finish this presentation, then we'll head over. I'm going to pin it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay. You can continue. I'm going to go share the link in the posts. I'll be right back.
One on the top here is Flatiron Freddy. Doing some curling. Nigerian dwarf goats at Milwaukee County Zoo will predict the end of winter this year. Nigerian dwarf goats. Bear versus the groundhog. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. The battle for February 2nd. Weird. Florida. Athene's the burrowing owl. Chicken. Chuckatawny Henrietta in New York. This is crazy. Is any of this a possible Mandela effect for you? If you live in the US or Canada, look up your state or province. Let me know if you remember the Punxsutawney Phil equivalent and your thoughts in the comments below.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. We only have 4 spots to join us on stage. So I am going to need everyone's name who'd like to join us in the stream. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those random name generators, one of those random pickers, and we'll pick the 4 seats of people to join us on stage for the show. It's the only fair way to do it because we only have 4 spots available. So if you're going to be at the watch party and you would like to join us on the stage, not backstage, the same rules apply. You still need like earbuds, you know. I mean, we're mainly just watching the show, but in case anybody wants to mention anything, ask anything, if you're on stage, it's easier. So I guess if you're definitely going to be at the watch party and you want to join us on stage, let me know in the chat now so I can add your names to the list. Just say, me, hi, like I want to join, something, so I know to add your name to the list. No one does, Josh. No one wants to join us.
Oh, somebody will want to join us.
Is Woo Rider still here? Guys, please take a moment and hit a like on this YouTube stream before you leave. We would really appreciate it. If you are interested in the Mandela Effect, even if you're just curious about it, please consider subscribing. Not only do we do Mandela Effects like that, we also do react shows. We do open panels where people can ask questions and discuss the Mandela Effect. I do a series called Mandela 101 occasionally where I cover a specific topic in the Mandela Effect community. I do community spotlights where I highlight creators in the Mandela Effect community. What else do I do, Josh? I do so much stuff.
Yeah, you do a ton for sure.
I feel like I'm missing something. Okay, well, I do a lot here.
Yeah.
We have shows guaranteed every Saturday and Sunday night, but we also go live during the week, and that's why I encourage you to ring the bell, because when we go live during the week, like tonight, it's not planned, it's random. So ringing the bell really does help you there. Also, this is because Rue Riders was throwing it in the chat. Donuts are very much appreciated, very much needed, never ever required. If you would like to donate, the links are in the description. This one is for you, Woo Riders. Throwing the donuts in the chat as soon as you got here, which I couldn't do earlier. So there's your kitty cat dance, the donut dance. Okay. All right. We are going to be heading over to Rumble. I have to get the link over to everyone, to Astral and Pushin and Splatter. We'll see you over there very shortly. Let's see. We'll save you a seat, Astral. So I guess Bomber wants to join us.
Oh, I don't know.
I want to
that
join.
would be fun.
Pushin, you already get to join. I have 4 more seats, and I don't see anybody who says they want to join us.
Darn, I was gonna charge him a cover charge for joining.
Well, basically, the first 4 people. How about we do it this way? The first 4 people to say me gets a link. How about we do it that way?
Okay.
But no one's saying me.
Well, if people get there and they want to join, we can just tell them to just send me an email and say, I want to join, and then I'll send them back the link.
William Easton, $300 join the watch party. No, we're not Rod Parsley. We mean, do you want to join us on the stage, like up here, to watch it so you can speak to us and discuss the film as we're watching it?
On the panel, yeah.
On the panel. 3 billion rubles, says Little Cameron. Salad says, oh, heck no.
That's not what they said.
Yeah, I know. I'm censoring myself. All right. I guess we'll wait to see if someone wants to join us in the... I could just send invites out to specific people that I already have email addresses of. And then, after I do that, someone will say, I want to join. After I send the invites out to 4 people. Astra says, I'll put my spot up for bid. I'll start it at 100.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe no one wants to join us. Makes me sad. All right. Well, we're going to leave so we can get over to Rumble. So again, it is pinned at the top of the chat. That's where we're headed. I also made a post. So it's in the post right now. And once again, just a reminder, the watch party goes private after the watch party is over. So if you want to see it, at least get it started. Like, go over there, start it, hit pause, because it will go private at the end. All right. Josh, you know what time it is. Say goodnight, Josh.
Good night, Josh.
Good night, chat. We weren't doing shout-outs tonight. There's so many of you out there tonight.
Yeah.
Still 77 watching. You guys are
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you again to Robyn's channel. We appreciate you sticking around for a few minutes. I hope you enjoyed the Mandela Effect. Again, if it interests you, feel free to come over. We are very nice here. We like to answer questions if we can. And if it's not your cup of tea, it's all good. We understand. All right, everyone. We'll see you in a few minutes on Rumble. Have a good night.
Smash the 2, smash the 2, smash the 2, smash the 2. Turn the strap up, 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 please turn it off. Why must we watch Friends? 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 I've seen this show about 1,000,000 times. Not even funny when I'm drunk or high. Why must we watch Friends?
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Is
that freaky?
Wait a minute.
This reality is not going to be very pleasant when all the good people leave.
I'm telling you now for the 100th time. To change the
Isn't even close. How could you say otherwise? The land's
everybody, Hebrew 77 here.
I'm doing good. Now that I'm home and off work.
Why must we watch Friends? That laugh track is so
Welcome.
to me.
Fog that's happening over across everywhere.
No. Pastor of Muppets.
This Asian man propagate, never too late. Yes, Lord.
Working on Baby It's Cold Outside.
Part of your world, it flipped again.
We all come from different realities, like I explained last week.
Then watch TV sit down and cackle belly. Why must we watch Friends? 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 Why must we watch Friends?